Alright guys, before we jump into the review, here's a quick overview of the entire movie with full spoilers and under 90 seconds.
Godzilla is killing people. But why? We have Eric from True Blood who helps Monarch befriend Kong by saying, "We need Kong.
The world needs Kong."
Exactly. Kong is besties with a little kid, and they communicate via sign language and warm fuzzies. Somehow, Kong decides to help Monarch find the Hollow Earth. But 11 from Stranger Things forms a Goonies squad and finds out Godzilla is attacking Apex hotspots. But why? Godzilla and King Kong fight using battleships. Kong loses. The Goonies break into Apex and learn the real truth behind the attacks. Apex has Mechagodzilla kill skull crawlers, and this is actually a really badass scene. Mecha is controlled using a Sever Ghidorah head, and Serizawa's son is piloting Mecha like a damn Gundam. Kong goes to Hollow Earth, fights Warbats, another flappy slithery fiends, gets an axe made from a Godzilla dorsal plate to fight Godzilla. Godzilla fights King Kong and Hong Kong. Kong loses again. Apex CEO overcharges Mechagodzilla, which shorts out the system, and Serizawa's son dies due to his internet search history being downloaded into him. The search history killed him.
Eli, anything?
Mechagodzilla goes crazy, beats the piss out of Kong and Godzilla with his newfound Pornhub account. Mecha almost kills Godzilla. Kong says nah. Godzilla and Kong become besties. Zilla Kong fights Mecha. They win. Roll credits. Post-credit scene. None.
Good job, Brian. I think that was under 90 seconds. I wasn't keeping track, but now let's go ahead and jump into our review.
Ryan?
All right, so here we go. Straight off the bat, I really did enjoy that seeing them for the first time on screen. Godzilla and Kong. Well, in modern times, this is the first time we're seeing them together on screen. This is really cool. I did think the Hollow Earth theory, which is a real theory, by the way, somehow has some ground. I think that's actually kind of cool that I got another shout out in this kind of movie. We got a lot of callbacks. We got Kong getting carried by the helicopters, which I think might have been balloons in the other one. We get the axe down the throat, which in the original Godzilla vs. Kong was a tree through the throat. The special effects were absolutely phenomenal. We get Mechagodzilla, and that kind of gets into my creature designs for this movie, is that they spent a lot of time really seeing like how this would work out. Mechagodzilla's design was absolutely badass. It was very well done.
All their designs are really good, and you know, when I saw Kong, I guess a lot of people complained that he was so big, but you understand now that, dude, it needs to be that way. Like his design of having like that dexterity and Godzilla being more like a brute kind of strength guy. It was cool, man. I agree.
It was cool. I did like the fewer human involvement, as far as they didn't spend so much time on their story.
For sure.
But I do like that they did try to give the human characters more personality. So and Eric is in here from True Blood. I'll obviously have Skarsgård. I mean, he's cool as fuck. So there you go.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and go next, and I agree with almost everything everything you agree. And I like the CG was really good. I noticed it right away when they were on the boat, like with Kong and stuff. I was like, okay, this is gonna be a good looking movie. I do agree, Ryan, that they made the character relationships or the characters more interesting. They made their parts smaller and they made them a little more interesting. Like the girl that talks to Kong and she has like the sign language, and even the sign language premise I thought was pretty cool. I like the Middle Earth theory. That was cool, man. Like
Frodo being involved.
Gandalf, dude.
He was in there,
and I like the monster fights, of course, is the last thing I'm going to say, because, dude, they were so epic. And towards the end of the movie, that's why when I left the movie, I was asking myself, what would I give the movie out of 10? And honestly, right after I saw the movie, the score was pretty high because how satisfied I was with the monster fights. It was just really, really badass.
They were very well.
That's all I have.
Yeah, well, just to, go off of what you just said, Fabian, the first thing I have is just like how great the fights were. They really went into detail of how things would work. Like Ryan said, they really used the dexterity as well as, Godzilla's abilities to actually show how they would actually fight if there were two giant creatures fighting in Hong Kong.
A huge thing that I thought was really cool was when you see Godzilla and Kong fighting on the ships. when Godzilla takes Kong underwater, you see Godzilla like wrap himself around
Yeah,
him, like
it's pretty
basically like
awesome. Yeah,
taking him
using
down.
his
It's like
surroundings to like
exactly
actually play a part of it. It
that
was
was
pretty awesome.
Yeah,
badass.
that
Like,
was sick.
dude,
It was really awesome. The
yeah,
other thing I really liked too was just how many cameos they brought in from the old movies into this movie too. Like the he's following Kong into Middle Earth, Mecha Godzilla being a huge one.
yeah,
Them fighting
follower.
Mecha Godzilla, how it was in one of the Godzilla versus Mecha Godzillas. I'm pretty sure that happens as well. But overall, it was just amazing. It was a really good movie. That's all I have to say.
All right, so now let's talk about what we would improve about this movie, and I'll go ahead and go first. I think the human perspective in this movie really suffers, and I think the acting and the dialogue just really kind of doesn't help because it
Yeah,
makes their perspective feel like it's lacking conviction or purpose, and it makes it impossible to connect with. So you end up not really caring about their parts. Some like the filler, it feels like filler that makes you laugh at best, and it's filler that's painfully annoying at worst.
Yep.
Which the worst is more common than
yeah,
the best in
I
this
agree
case.
completely. I 100% agree.
Besides that, the narrative as well, again, for the humans, is predictable and it feels like purposely convoluted. Like they were trying to confuse you so that you didn't get what was going on, so that you were just waiting for the next monster fight.
Yeah,
And well, it worked because honestly, I tried to pay attention and I had just ended up annoyed and asking what the hell is going on. And the last thing for me would be the logic, and this is for the whole movie in general. Like the big one that I'll point out is when Godzilla is blasting through Hong Kong to the Hollow Earth, and there's so many questions I asked about this because it just blew my mind. Like, why was nobody
yeah,
firing rockets at him? Nobody was shooting guns at him while he was doing that. Like, how long did it take him? Did he blast through the little vortex in the middle? Does that let
yeah.
energy
No,
through?
that's
No
a bit
problem.
ridiculous.
Nothing happens to it.
Yeah.
How did
It's bad.
like? I just have so many questions about it, and yeah, that frustrated me. But
Yeah.
that's it.
All right, for me, just to piggyback off of Fabian here,
Mhm.
I really didn't
Absolutely.
like that the logic wasn't there as well. Like, just to mention that same part again when he was breathing down, Hong Kong's little hole. It said earlier that it took 2,000 miles to get to the center of the Earth. You're telling me he really blasted to 200,000 miles? Where in the first movie he got tired and winded out from blasting that guy with atomic breath for like 2 seconds?
That's
Yeah.
true.
Not only that, I didn't like that they didn't put that much lore into this one. They went to Hollow Earth, they went to, Skull Island again, and yet we didn't see any more Titans. We saw a few little fights here and there, but nothing of importance or lore worthy. And the trailers that showed that they were really going to go into their past and stuff. But instead, he just picks up an axe and says, "I'm ready."
Yeah. Yeah.
So with that said, like it brings me up to my third thing, that there was very few fights in this one. At least
Yeah.
in King of Monsters, or even in the first one, even though he was only there for 11 minutes, you still see him fight a lot. You see him fight at least 4 or 5 times in the other films, and here it was literally only about two fights with Kong and one finale fight. That's about it. But besides that, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say about what was bad about the movie.
To go ahead and just piggyback off Eli here.
Yeah.
I agree. There was a lot of things that they could have been improved about this movie. I mean, one of the big ones for me was the dialogue in it. The way Mecha Godzilla gets his name is honestly incredibly
Lord.
stupid. Like that guy's like, "Oh, dude, it's Robo Godzilla," and the kid's like, "No, it's Mecha Godzilla." Like,
Dude.
yeah, kid, this is the time to make those corrections right now.
Yeah, and you could tell that was kind of like a side to the audience. They were like, "No, it's Mecha," and it was supposed to be like a family-friendly thing. So
Yeah.
I kind of like was okay with it, but I get it, dude. In the scope of the movie, that was ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, this is gonna have a huge impact. Same thing what they did with like Godzilla laughing. Like they were like, okay, cool. Like here we're gonna show like these Titans have like an intelligence, a wit about them, which they do, and that's fine. And then again, like there's not Mecha Godzilla coming back to him. He's not in the movie enough. Like he's your big bad. He's your main. Like I get like we were having them fight each other, and you wanted to see because the trailer was like one will fall, but then when you introduce him and he's only in the movie in his fight scene
for like 7 minutes. They're trying to say, I guess, Godzilla and Kong as a team are that badass. That's fine and well. And, I guess, when I told you I was going to add this, and I guess, King Kong didn't learn anything from Ozzy Osbourne eating bats and COVID because, he ate the head of a bat, probably got COVID.
Yeah.
That's exactly why Godzilla was shooting him with atomic breath to maintain social distancing. A lot of things, a lot of room for improvement here, but we got the movie and that's it. All right, that's it. That's all I got.
All right, so with that being said, now we're going to go ahead and independently rate what we gave this movie. Then we're also going to give it a channel score as well. I'll go first in stating that, despite all the things that it could have been improved on, I really did like the movie for what it was, which was a monster movie, and I grew up with Godzilla movies all the time. I really liked it. So with that said, I'll definitely give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and piggyback off of that, Eli. And honestly, I'm going to say it straight up. I enjoyed it. It was a monster movie at heart, and it gave me the monster battles that I wanted. And I left satisfied because of those battles. The casting and acting, the awkward cuts, some of it felt janky, but at the end of the day, I was satisfied. So I'm going to give it a solid 6 out of 10.
I'm going to go ahead and piggyback off Fabian here. Despite the critiques I gave it as well, it was a movie that I would definitely watch again. Being a huge Godzilla fan, waiting for this movie to come out, seeing these two titans fight in the modern era, this is really cool to finally see it. With the improvement that could have been there, I still enjoyed the movie, still being a fan. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, and that's my score.
All right, so all of us together as a channel, we would definitely give this movie, Godzilla vs. Kong, a 7 out of 10.
All right, guys, now let us know what you think in the comments. Did you like this movie more than we did? Did you like it less? Do you want to see more movies in this universe? If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. We have new video reviews out weekly. Thanks.